Welcome to Conversations Live, where we bring you the best in music, books, entertainment, and more. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 16 years of broadcasting, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience and us tuning in online. We're glad you all could be with us as well. As we are saying goodbye to our 16th year of Conversations Live and getting ready to usher in year 17, I wanted to revisit some conversations I've had with some great people over the years, bring them back on the program, and be able to let you guys hear from what they're doing now and also what they have coming up. We're excited to welcome back Suga Ray to our program today. We're going to talk to Suga Ray not only about his own love of words, but also his love of the community as well. He's been able to show his love of both. We've been able to follow him on social media. We'll talk to him about how he's using that platform, but also what you guys can expect for him as he's moving throughout this next half of 2020. Suga Ray, hello to you, and welcome back to the program, man.
Hey, peace, brother. Thanks for having me, man. I'm grateful, man. It's a great morning. Thank you, man. Conversations Live, wrapping up the 16th year. I'm super humble, super grateful, super excited. Thank you once again. Peace.
Hey, man, glad to have you back on with us. So I should let our audience know, Suga Ray and I have only met each other in person one time, but he is such an amazing guy, such an amazing presence, and you've been able to do so many great things. You know, as I mentioned, when I first met you, it was because of your book. That's how you and I were first introduced. But then I've been able to follow your journey over the years and seeing your work, you've been able to even evolve on your own platform. I remember waking up in the mornings and seeing you using your IG story to kind of chronicle your day, and then you were talking about, filmmaking, telling stories that way. Do you think you are just a storyteller by nature, Suga Ray? Do you think that's just part of who you are?
Absolutely, without question. I've been telling stories since like 5 years old, man. Maybe even younger than that. Storytelling is what I do, man. I remember Ghostbusters came out, and my dad brought me the book bag with the Nerf gun, not the Nerf gun, but the whatever the shooting gun was. And I used to recreate what I saw on TV. I used to recreate with my cousins and my friends. I used to recreate the scenes and add stuff and take stuff out and let's do it this way. So your storytelling is that is who I am. I am a storyteller.
Yeah. And in doing that, you've been able to find different platforms to do it. You've done it in the printed form. You've done it, of course, telling stories, as I mentioned, through social media, but also through filmmaking. Did it just seem like a natural progression for you when it came to storytelling through film, that was something that was inevitable for you to do?
Yeah, without question. So I'm an 80s baby. I was born in 84, and so the 90s, like, all these great movies came out, and I was always in awe. I was always like in awe, like these great movies, and but it was funny because even in my young mind, watching these films, most people are watching as a fan. I'm watching a little more analytical, like, I would have wrote that a little differently, or I would have directed that a little differently. And so it was just a matter of figuring out how to get there, figuring out like how to, like, what was that called, right? Okay, that's called filmmaking. Okay, that's called directing. Okay, that's called producing. So just learning the game, but yeah, like, it was just a natural evolution. You first tell stories just using your words, using your body, using your presence, using your own physical space first, and then you find other tools through photography, through painting, through sculpting. I love sculpting. That's one of my hidden talents and hidden passions. I really do love sculpting. But yeah, just many mediums, and filmmaking, I think, is the key, because filmmaking engages subconsciously. It engages on each level of consciousness, using the various forms of art, using fashion, using dialogue, using moving image, using audio, at the same time. And so film has a huge filmmaking is a huge platform, and it provides a huge opportunity to truly change the narrative and to reshape how people perceive themselves and the world around them. And so to be a storyteller and to learn how to cultivate stories through film is an honor.
Yeah. So, let's go a little bit deeper into that, because I think, for a lot of people, Suga Ray, I think, they may have something that they are passionate about. But unfortunately, we live in a time where people still try to put individuals in a box. They try to tell you, this is what you should do, and just focus on this. And, you need to, you're this, so you need to focus on that. What has it been like for you to not only divide your time professionally, but I should mention too that you also are a father, so you're involved, in that world, of fatherhood. What is it like for you to find that balance to be able to do what you love, but also to know the responsibilities you have as well?
Oh man, it's tough. It's tough, especially as a Pisces, right? I'm a Pisces, and I'm every bit of a Pisces. I'm every bit of an artistic Pisces, and so I'm truly free-flowing. I'm truly I get lost or I get consumed in my head, in the world that I'm creating in my head. And, time management is my toughest thing. And I remember, and I'm going to be very transparent with you, Cyrus, because you're a great guy, and I think your audience, your audience is great. And so I remember when I first became a dad, and my wife, who was now my ex-wife, she's a Taurus. She's a Taurus and she's a scientist, right? So she is very rigid with time. She's very structured. She's very organized, minute to minute. The time she wakes up to the time she goes to sleep, pretty much. I'm completely opposite. I'm like, I've set an intention for the day, but I'll see how it goes, because if I'm doing this a little longer, right? And I remember us getting, into a disagreement about that. And me at the time saying that, I can't do both, right? Like, I can either spend a lot of time, but then I'm going to be unproductive because I'm not working on my career, or I can work on my career and not spend a lot of time. But then I'm like, that's not really what I want. And so I had to and I'm still learning. So I'm pushing myself every day to be way more structured and organized, because they both are equally important. My role as a dad is the most important thing. However, in order to be a great dad, I have to, my role as a professional, whether that's a professional storyteller, professional, community builder, whatever it is, that is equally important to the success of my fatherhood. And so I'm learning, man. That's why I think yesterday on your platform, on my platform, interviewing you, I asked you, what are some tips to do that, to structure your time more. The world of storytelling, you get consumed, especially in book writing and in script writing and, just writing concepts and ideas for events or for demonstrations. So it's definitely a challenge, but it's definitely a worthy challenge, to be able to blend your time and blend your life as a professional and as a parent. So I'm up for the challenge, and I'm excited about continuing to learn and grow.
So, with that being said, and I appreciate you sharing that, I think, there are people, I have learned a long time ago, Suga Ray, the importance of staying in my lane. I do not give advice to married couples because I'm not married. I don't give advice to fathers because I'm not a father. And so I believe that we see the world because of our experiences and our perception, and that's how I try to tell. And that's why I always frown when people try to give relationship advice or try to tell people what they should, because everybody is different, right? I mean, everyone handles things differently. But I bring that up because you not only are trying to figure this out yourself, you have people who are looking at you as an example. How does that feel to know that by what you're achieving professionally and personally and in your community, that you're inspiring others? How does that make you feel?
Oh man, it's again, I'm a Pisces, so it's emotional, man. There's times when I read a message or get a phone call or see somebody in the streets, man, and they'll say something about how I impacted them or what I wrote, how they felt it, or and I just be crying a lot, man. I spend a lot of time crying tears of joy because, and tears of true joy, because even through the challenges, life is good. There were times when I could not be here. I once sat with a gun to my own head, contemplating suicide. I was once shot 3 times. So there's many instances when my life could be completely different. So to know that I'm in the same community, doing the work and receiving love, not only from people in the community, but from people around the world. People humbly, people know my name in countries that I don't even know exist, in languages that I can't even comprehend. People know some of the work of Suga Ray, and so it's humbling. It just lets me know there's more work to be done. Like for example, I connected with someone on social media just 3 days ago from the Philippines. And they're saying how, they got 5 children and single parent and no work, and the government is really helping, and they're struggling, and the whole building is struggling. And it's like, shit, what do I do? Part of my language. But it's what do I do? So it's, again, it's a challenge, but it's a worthy challenge. I'm up for the challenge because God don't give you more than you can handle. You know, all is divine, and so you just got to get bigger shoulders.
Yeah. So, okay, so with that being said then, I mean, we have to talk about when you and I met each other in person now. It's hard to believe it's been 5 years ago. But when we met each other in person, I you know, one of the things that comes up, of course, is fear, you know. I mean, it is so easy to, I mean, for a lot of people I have found, especially in my journey over the years, fear has stopped so many people from even starting because they're afraid of if they can't finish or what people are going to think. How have you been able to press forward in spite of the challenges? Because, I mean, the challenges are going to come. We both know that. But how have you been able to keep pressing forward in spite of that?
Well, fear, I learned, so I think, so I got in a lot of trouble as a youth, you know, and I think I was in the, I was in the street, you know, in some illegal activity, and I got caught up, and I had to go to a program. And in the program, they had fear, right? It was like fear, it was an acronym. And it was like, forget everything and run, right? Or face everything and rise, you know. And so, like, from 15 years old, like, that's been my, and then, I mean, obviously before that, because I came to that point with that, like, always pressing forward in the face of fear. But I was able to conceptualize it, intellectualize it at that moment. Like, okay, face everything and rise. And actually, it wasn't face everything and rise. It was the other word, F-U-C-K, everything and rise, you know. But that's it, like, you know, and then Will Smith said in the movie that he did with his son, when it was just them two, like, saving the world or something like that, he said, danger is real, fear is a choice. And again, that's something that was already in my spirit, like, yeah, the danger is real, like, I'm crossing the street, I can really get hurt, or I'm in this neighborhood and something can really happen. However, this is where I've been led, and so I have to push forward. And I think that which causes you that fear, that anxiety, is that which you are supposed to overcome, right? Because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So every challenge that arises, it arises because it is meant for you to get stronger. It is meant for you to tackle it. It is meant for you to persevere. And so it's just knowing that all is divine, and whatever challenges arises is there for me to get stronger, there for me to build who I am, moving me closer to my destiny.
Right. Right. And I think that's a great thing for all of us to be able to keep in mind. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome back Suga Ray to our program today. Suga Ray is someone who's multifaceted. He is an author. He's a filmmaker, an individual who's very active in his community, but also I think a great example of what all of us can do if we're willing to hunker down and to do the work. We're going to let you guys know here in a bit how you can stay connected with him. So I want to talk about the what's next. This is not the 2020 that a lot of people expected. Suga Ray, you know, there's been a lot going on this year, and you've kind of been in the epicenter of a few of those things, whether we're talking about the coronavirus pandemic, you know, what's been happening with the racial unrest when it comes to interactions with police, and then, of course, just what's happening with people trying to find their way, trying to move forward in life. What is it that keeps you inspired at this point? Because I think as creatives, we all try to draw inspiration from something. What is it at this point is keeping you inspired?
Everything, all of it. The tragedy, the joys, the triumphs, the suffering, all of it is because inspiration is like spirit, right? What is in your spirit. And emotion is energy in motion. And so every, like there's an outside stimuli. Like, I'm truly tapped into the universe, right? Just like, you know, like a like a cell. You know, you're tapped in, you're locked in, and you're radiating. And all these outside stimuli, again, whether it is the police killings, whether it is, you know, the young people graduating on Zoom, right? Like persevering still, like, damn, like things messed up, school stopped, but we still got to keep going, you know, and the educators who are still figuring out how to do it, and the parents who, even without work, are still figuring out, you know, who have never homeschooled their children, who have never been home this moment, they're figuring it out, even the ones who aren't figuring it out, who are becoming more stressed. All of it is inspiring me to how to maintain the good stuff and expound on it, and the stuff that is causing people to not feel good, that is causing depression. I mean, I've lost like 34 people that I know personally in the last 4 months, you know, not including, you know, the people like Kobe, who I've come to know since I was a child through entertainment, you know, but from my neighborhood alone, about 34 people, man, some of them were really, really close. And it inspires me, like, how do we honor them? You know, how do we honor them going forward? How do we ensure that something like this doesn't happen again, or not as much, right? So I'm inspired by everything, man. And again, I'm grateful to have that perspective because people around me, a lot of people are depressed. I'm in the hood. I'm in Queensbridge. You know, a lot of people don't see no hope. Like, the air is real thick. I'm just grateful to be a beacon of light. You know, to light a better path. You know, a path to a better way. And so, like, you know, 2020 has been crazy, but it's been a blessing. You know, I think everything is about perspective. So even when there's great tragedy, there is, if you shift your perspective, great triumph. Right? Pain only leads to power. Right? If you are objective about it, if you can look outside of yourself and not say why me, but say, okay, now thank you. Right? This taught me a lesson, and so that comes with, for me, understanding that I'm not separate from God. I'm not separate from the divine. I'm not separate from the universe. I am one with the all. I am interconnected. The God lives through me. So that means whatever happens is not happening to me, but it's happening for me. And so in that, man, I've just been able to just push. And I got a big bus trip coming up actually in a couple of weeks. I'm taking 40 young people from my neighborhood. We're going down to D.C. I'm doing a freedom tour. We're going to do a walking tour through D.C., talk about what D.C. is, discuss the structures of government, and talk about how do we get free from these systems of oppression. You know, we're going to do a big rally right on Black Lives Matter Plaza. Yeah, man. And so just pushing forward in the spirit of freedom, justice, and liberation for humanity. So that's just continuing the work.
Yeah. The work continues for sure. Again, everyone, Suga Ray has been our guest. We've been talking with him not only about the journey, but also what it's been like for him to be able to make a difference and to be able to see how the work he's doing is impacting others. So, Suga Ray, how can our audience stay connected with you, man?
Oh, man, I'm on social media. Instagram and Twitter is SugaRay4506. That's SUGARAY 4506. And Facebook is SUGA space RAY Suga Ray. Yeah, that's my social media, man. You can email me at thesugarayshow@gmail.com. That's TheSugarRayShow@gmail.com. I look forward to communicating, man. Cyrus, I'm gonna say this, sort of the freedom tour that we're doing going to DC. It is the first step in an initiative that I'm creating called Transform America, where we're going to travel the country and connect with people in other cities and other states to transform all of our systems, our educational systems, our economic structures, our healthcare systems. We're going to change everything, man. And that's through people on the ground floor, people who care, that are in their lane, that are doing what they do, that are willing to lend a hand, some tools, some wisdom, some finances to rebuild a better country. So that's what's next, man. And I'm excited to be in this journey.
It's a lot of great work. It's a lot of necessary work for sure, Suga Ray, and we're glad that we could definitely be able to talk about it. Definitely invite you back when you come back from D.C. We'd love to speak with you again to be able to see how that trip not only went, but also what you were able to take away from it, because I know everything is an experience that we all can be able to learn from and move forward.
Yes.
So definitely invite you back, and looking forward to our next conversation together, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I look forward to it. I can't wait. We're actually going to make a movie, man. We're going to go down there. We got the photographers and the videographers, man, and we're going to document everything. And we got a great group of people. We got some young people who are in the streets, right, who are part of the problem, but I know that they want better. We got some young people who are college students. We got some, we got a good mix of people going down there, man. We got a good mix of adults, from educators to spiritual leaders, and it's going to be a great thing. Got some people down there meeting us down there, some artists and some contractors, and it's going to be a great time, And again, I'm just grateful to be on this journey. And thank you. I look forward to speaking with you again.
All right, man. Definitely the same with me. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. Let's make it a great one. Take care.